Good evening, I am Jarvis Barney with your VOA Major News Package for today, Wednesday, January 9th, 2019. In our lead stories nationally, St. Kitts and Nevis to be represented at UNESCO World Heritage Committee meeting, and Prime Minister Harris meets with Chairman of Republic Financial Holdings Limited. Regionally, Ross University opens in Barbados, and officials say the spin-offs will benefit local education. Internationally, Second Commons defeat for Theresa May in Brexit deal, and in sports, Wolves Wiggins apologizes for using gay as derogatory term. We'll have the details of these and other stories after this break.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, Vaughan.
Welcome back, and now on to the national news in detail. Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris today met with senior representatives of the Republic Financial Holdings Limited RFHL and representatives of Scotiabank on the purchase by Republic Financial Holdings of Scotiabank's operations in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union ECCU. The RFHL delegation comprised Chairman Mr. Ronald Harford and Mr. Ian D'Souza, Principal Advisor at Advice Financial Company Limited, ADFIN. Scotiabank was represented by Brendan King, Senior Vice President of International Banking, and Mr. David Parks, Managing Director for the Eastern Caribbean. Mrs. Hilary Hazel, the Financial Secretary in the Government of St. Kitts and Nevis, and Ms. Cheryl Hobson, Director in the Office of the Prime Minister, supported Prime Minister Harris at this morning's meeting. RFHL announced last November that it had entered into an agreement to acquire Scotiabank's banking operations in St. Kitts and Nevis and 8 other Caribbean countries. The Republic Group has served the Caribbean for 181 years, having opened its first office in Port of Spain, Trinidad, with the establishment of Colonial Bank in 1837. It has branches in Grenada and St. Lucia. The company says it has financed over US $268 million in support of significant nation-building projects across the Caribbean since 2001. This sum includes US $7.4 million for the Carifesta housing development in St. Kitts in the year 2005. St. Kitts and Nevis will be represented at the UNESCO World Heritage Committee between June 30th to July 10th, 2019 in Azerbaijan. St. Kitts and Nevis was nominated back in November 2017 as a member of the most prestigious committee in the UNESCO World Heritage Committee at its 21st General Assembly of the States Parties to the World Heritage Convention. The Federation will be represented by General Manager of the Brimstone Hill UNESCO Heritage Site and SKN representative to the World Heritage Committee. St. Kitts and Nevis Ambassador to UNESCO based in Paris, Dr. David Doyle, said the Federation will be seizing this occasion to spearhead its efforts to solidify its presence and unique place on the World Heritage Committee. The committee reviews all new heritage inscriptions, decides on the budget priorities to support heritage activities across the world, and in doing so, secure heritage management expertise and experience to enhance preservation activities at Brimstone Hill, the Federation's single World Heritage Site approved in 1993. The World Heritage Committee will also be called upon to vote in new members to the World Heritage Committee in conformity with the rules of procedures of the General Assembly of States Parties to the World Heritage Convention. A High Court in Bastia has determined that a man accused of 2 counts of rape had violated his bail conditions, and he will therefore be remanded to Her Majesty's Prison until his matter is called up for trial at the High Court. There were several bail conditions imposed, including that he is not to have any contact or interfere with any witness in this case, and he is not to come within 100 meters of the complainant, and any breach of any of the conditions of the bail will result in its immediate revocation. The Barstow resident was in April 2018 charged for an incident of rape that allegedly occurred on February 3, 2018, and a second incident on March 31, 2018. A High Court judge granted the individual bail in the amount of $100,000 with 2 sureties. The man was, however, arrested on December 27th in connection to an incident during the December 26 Juve festivities involving the complainant in the rape allegation. The 3-day training program in Bloom Software is being conducted daily at the National ICT Center in Barstow. The training, which began today and ends on January 11, 2019, aims to encourage book development locally by instructing teachers on how to use the software to produce supplementary reading materials for their students. In October of 2018, the facilitators of the software training, Kishma Wilkin, Jamila Bristol, and Kishma Isaac, all teachers, traveled to Grenada and received first-time training on how to effectively use and teach the Bloom software. The program is being conducted under the Early Learners Program, supported by the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States (OECS) and the United States Agency for International Development (USAID). In police news, police in St. Kitts have apprehended 2 suspects in relation to a shooting incident that took place on the island on Monday, January 7th. The 2 were taken into police custody on Tuesday, 8th January, and are assisting with investigations. Reports are that on Monday, sometime after 9 p.m., police received reports of shots being fired in the St. Paul's area. Upon investigation, it was revealed that 3 men in the Lovers Lane area were attacked by an unknown assailant or assailants, and all 3 were shot in the legs. Following the incident, all 3 victims were transported to the JNF hospital for treatment. 2 have since been released and 1 remains warded in a stable condition. According to a police communique, police who were on patrol in the area at the time were able to intervene to halt the attack, and following a chase, were able to take the vehicle used in the incident into police custody. That incident was the 3rd shooting incident. That incident was the 3rd recorded incident for the year so far. Reports reaching the VOA Newsline have indicated that the 2nd medical student involved in an explosion here on Nevis on October 3, 2018, has succumbed to her injuries. 31-year-old Guyane Balsanyan is reported to have died from injuries on Monday evening after battling 2nd-degree burns over 80% of her body. On Sunday, November 18, 2018, 28-year-old Nada Magdi Khalil, the other student involved in the explosion, passed away at a Miami hospital while battling injuries she suffered in the explosion. Both students were transported to the U.S. for medical treatment. The Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force back in November 2018 at a press conference indicated that an FBI report following an investigation into the incident revealed that the explosion was due to propane gas that filled the room. The report further indicated that 1 student occupied the apartment and her friend came over. While at the apartment, the friend attempted to light a cigarette which she was not aware of, and that resulted in the explosion. Sun Country Airlines announced its largest route expansion in company history on Tuesday, January 8th, with prices starting below $250. Creticians and Nevisians, as well as Jamaicans, can now have access to a new travel route, direct flights from Dallas-Fort Worth DFW International Airport to St. Kitts and to Jamaica. The Minnesota-based airline will add a route from DFW to Robert L. Bradshaw International Airport in St. Kitts and Nevis. This will commence on May 25th and operate once per week. Moreover, the new service will also operate twice weekly from DFW to Sangster International Airport in Jamaica beginning May 24th. Back in December, Premier of Nevis, the Honourable Mark Brantley, and CEO of the Nevis Tourism Authority, Mr. Greg Phillip, were credited with securing the Sun Country inaugural flight from Minneapolis to St. Kitts. And lastly, in our national news segment, the Embassy of the Republic of China, Taiwan, will introduce on Thursday, January 17th, the first showing of a television series of drama and action entitled The New World. According to resident ambassador Tom Lee, the television series is a way of further sharing the culture of Taiwan with the people of the Federation through a engaging action-oriented TV show. He added that what inspired him was the just concluded Sugar Mass 47 activities and said through the program, persons can learn Taiwanese culture. The ambassador said that when people of both countries get to know each other better, the relationship can be strengthened, and this program is anticipated to deepen the relationship between the two countries. And that's our national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com, or you can check us out on Facebook at Von Radio and our Von Radio YouTube channel. Regional news comes up next.
Home. It means something different to everyone. It's a place you love, a place as unique as you are, a place where you can be yourselves, a place for life's big surprises, and not to mention the small ones. Moments to cherish and moments that last a lifetime. It's a place for nurture and a place where you can grow together. It's home. So whether you're building, purchasing, or renovating, the Bank of Nevis is here to open the door, giving you the confidence to dream and the help you need to get there with a mortgage loan from the Bank of Nevis. The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life.
Welcome back on the one to the regional news. Out of Jamaica, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says an Alternative Development Program ADP, which will provide an avenue for small ganja farmers to benefit from the ganja industry, will start by March. The program aims to prevent and eliminate the illicit cultivation of ganja and channel the process through legal streams. The pilot, which will commence in the southwestern parish of St. Elizabeth and Orange Hill in Westmoreland in the south of the island, will involve the farming of ganja to provide raw material for processors. He made the comments at the Accompong Maroons' 281st celebration of the signing of the peace treaty with the British and to commemorate the birthday of legendary leader Cudjoe in the Maroon village, St. Elizabeth. The Prime Minister said he has received the commitment of the Minister of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries, Audley Shaw, that the program will begin within the first quarter of 2019. Out of Montserrat, the European Union has disbursed EC $17.55 million to the government of Montserrat as a first fixed tranche under the Multi-Sector Sustainable Economic Development Budget Support Program. The assistance includes an emergency top-up payment of EC $1 million as additional support to help with the economic recovery of Montserrat after Hurricane Maria struck in September 2017. The overall objective of the budget support program is to assist in setting Montserrat on a path of sustainable economic development based on its 2017-2021 medium-term economic policy. The EU said the assistance is expected to support Montserrat's renewable energy thrust and Newport development to facilitate accessibility to the island. It is also geared towards enhancing the country's tourism industry as well as improving the business environment and more inclusive private sector development. Out of Guyana, U.S. energy company ExxonMobil has started drilling one of two new exploration wells offshore Guyana. It's the first of two wells to be drilled this month. The world's largest publicly traded international oil and gas company, said in a statement yesterday that the Stena Carron drillship is drilling the Haimara 1 well, located 19 miles east of the Pluma 1 discovery in the southeast Stabroek block. The development comes just over 2 weeks after ExxonMobil suspended its seismic data gathering activities in the northwest portion of the Stabroek block when a contracted vessel was confronted by the Venezuelan Navy. The oil company says drilling and development operations offshore Guyana have been unaffected by the December 22nd incident, which occurred more than 110 kilometers from the Ranger discovery, the closest of 10 discoveries made by ExxonMobil in the southeast section of the Stabroek block. The Noble Tom Madden drillship is expected to drill the second well, Tilapia 1, about 3 miles west of the Longtail 1 discovery. The Tilapia 1 well is located in the growing Talbot area. And lastly, in our regional news segment, out of Barbados, the opening of the Ross University School of Medicine's main campus in the country is expected to bring with it a number of benefits to local healthcare and education. Speaking at the official opening ceremony of the university's campus at the Lloyd Erskine Sandyford Center over the weekend, Minister of Education, Technological and Vocational Training Sanshia Bradshaw disclosed that the ministry had started discussions with the university long before the opening about having local students attend the medical school. Additionally, she said they were also in discussions about possible synergies between the Barbados Community College and Chamberlain University, one of the universities which will fall under the umbrella of Adtalem Global Education, Ross's parent company, to improve the quality of the college's local nursing program. Bradshaw said the partnership with Ross University was one that brought with it very high expectations and opportunities, adding that Barbados was chosen as a location for Ross's flagship school because of its strength, diversity, and amenities. And that's our regional news segment. Stay with us for news around the world. To the international news. Rebel Conservative MPs have joined forces with Labour to inflict a fresh blow on Theresa May's government in a Commons Brexit vote. It means the government will have to come up with revised plans within 3 days if Mrs May's EU withdrawal deal is rejected by MPs next week. It could also open the door to alternatives such as a referendum. Rob Watson reports.
If Theresa May's tactic is, or was, to run down the clock on Brexit, she may be in big trouble. If, as expected, she loses the vote next Tuesday, she'll find it hard to simply let MPs stew for 3 weeks as Brexit Day on March 29th draws ever closer in the hope they will support it in desperation. What exactly she will decide to do if she loses is as uncertain as ever. She has repeatedly said ultimately the choice facing MPs is her deal, no deal, or no Brexit.
US President Donald Trump has made his first TV address to the nation from the Oval Office, escalating a standoff with Congress that has led to a 19-day partial government shutdown. Mr. Trump insisted on funding for his long-promised border wall with Mexico. However, he did not declare an emergency that would enable him to bypass the lower house of Congress, now controlled by the opposition Democrats. Democratic leaders accuse him of holding the American people hostage. The Republican president wants $5.7 billion to build a steel barrier which would deliver on a key campaign pledge. The wife of a Norwegian multimillionaire businessman has been missing for months after being abducted, police have now confirmed. Anne Elizabeth Fallavik Hagen, 68, disappeared from her home near Oslo on October 31st. The investigation has been continuing since then, police said, but was given a low profile because very serious threats have been made. More in this report.
Norwegian police believe Anne Elisabeth Falkevik Hagen was probably abducted from her home near the capital, Oslo. They say very serious threats have been made against her and that they have no evidence to indicate she's not alive. Police say they're recommending to relatives that they don't pay a ransom demand they've received. Reports in the Norwegian media suggest kidnappers have demanded a ransom of $10 million paid in cryptocurrency. Kidnappings are extremely rare in Norway.
And lastly, in our international news segment, Malta has reached a deal with 8 EU countries to divide up and take in 49 migrants stranded at sea for weeks. Prime Minister Joseph Muscat named them as Germany, France, Portugal, Ireland, Romania, Luxembourg, the Netherlands and Italy. The deal means the 49 migrants who have been stranded on charity-run boats amid a row over who would take them can now disembark in Malta. The deal also decides the future of another 249 rescued migrants already in the island nation. The 49 migrants who were on 2 ships refused permission to dock by both Italy and Malta. And that brings us to the end of our news segment. The latest in sports is next.
Most of us spend the better part of each weekday at the workplace. So why not make your office environment the kind of setting that helps you function at your personal best by outfitting it with top quality furniture, high-end photocopiers, printers, versatile office supplies, and the latest technology. The friendly and knowledgeable staff at the TDC Business Center are happy to provide you with personalized service to help you create an office space that's the total package. TDC Business Center, providing solutions that work.
Welcome back and now on to the sports. In basketball, Minnesota forward Andrew Wiggins has apologized for using the word gay to describe Oklahoma City Thunder guard Dennis Schroeder's behavior during their game. Thunder center Nerlens Noel was taken off the court on a stretcher in the 3rd quarter after Wiggins collided with Noel on a dunk attempt Tuesday night. Schroeder, unhappy about the play and other incidents in what was a testy game, eventually was given a technical foul for an altercation with Timberwolves guard Jeff Teague. After the game, Wiggins says he thought Schroeder's actions were unwarranted and that he was just gay. He was acting crazy for no reason. Later on Twitter, Wiggins apologized, saying, "I have the utmost love and respect for the LGBT community, and I would never use any term to disrespect them in any way." In football, Tottenham say their new stadium will not be ready to host matches until at least March. Spurs were originally scheduled to move into the new White Hart Lane Stadium in September, but the project has suffered construction delays. The club took their latest decision after an update from contractors. The new ground, which will also host NFL games, has a capacity of 62,062 and is located on the site of their old White Hart Lane home. In December, several thousand season ticket holders were allowed to explore the South Stand during a fan familiarization event. In tennis, world number 1 Simona Halep's first match in more than 3 months ended in defeat by Australia's Ashley Barty at the Sydney International. The Romanian, who cut short her 2018 season with a back injury, was beaten 6-4, 6-4 by the world number 15 in the second round after a first round bye. French Open champion Halep, 27, who was runner-up at last year's Australian Open, has started 2019 without a coach. The first Grand Slam of the year starts in Melbourne on Monday. Meanwhile, Britain's Andy Murray will face world number 1 Novak Djokovic in a practice match on Thursday as part of his preparations for the Australian Open. Murray has lost 4 games to Djokovic in the Australian Open final. 3-time Grand Slam champion Murray missed most of last season after hip surgery and has tumbled down the rankings to 230th. Australian Open organisers said the match on the Margaret Court Arena that's actually said the match on the Margaret Court Arena show court would be open to the public. And lastly, in our sports segment, in cricket, Australia have named uncapped batsman Will Pucovski in their test squad to play Sri Lanka, while brothers Sean and Mitchell Marsh have been left out. Pucovski, 20, has also played 8 first-class matches but scored 243 for Victoria last month. Aaron Finch and Peter Hanscombe have also been dropped following Australia's series defeat by India, with batsmen Mathuan Renshaw and Joe Burns recalled. Australia plays 2 tests against Sri Lanka starting on January 24th. Batsman Sean Marsh has been dropped after scoring just 150 in 4 matches against India as the tourists won a test series in Australia for the first time. And that's it for sports. The weather is next. Welcome back. The weather tonight will be partly cloudy with a 20% or a slight chance of a brief shower. The weather tomorrow will be partly sunny in general with a 20% or a slight chance of a brief shower. The winds are easterly at 6 to 14 knots or 11 to 24 kilometers per hour, with lighter spells in some places and becoming east-southeasterly tomorrow. The sea heights are from 1 to 1.2 meters, which is also equal to 3 to 4 feet. The sunrise tomorrow will be at 6:43 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Wednesday, January 9th, 2019. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, St. Kitts and Nevis to be represented at UNESCO World Heritage Committee meeting, and Prime Minister Harris meets with Chairman of Republic Financial Holdings Limited. Regionally, Ross University opens in Barbados and officials say the spin-off will benefit local education. Internationally, Second Commons defeat for Theresa May in Brexit deal. And in sports, Wolves Wiggins apologizes for using gay as derogatory term. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Jarvis Brown wishing you a pleasant evening.